Okay, y'all. So I feel a few different ways about this vlog. One way I feel is that I'm very happy that Chelsie is choosing herself and choosing her own happiness instead of someone else's. So that's very commendable, especially for somebody her age, because often we see a lot of women that do the complete opposite and it never ends up well. So I'm proud of her for that. On the flip side of that, part of me feels like it was very self-serving as well. And I say that because if you've been watching Chelsie for as long as she's been around, you kind of seen when the relationship kind of started taking, I don't want to say a turn, I don't want to say a decline, but it started looking different. And she started doing more and more things, not necessarily alone, but more with single girlfriends. And I'm not talking about just her fellow content creators. And so for me, knowing what I know at my seasoned age, I know that that is nothing but a bunch of problems waiting to happen. Because people think that, oh, you weird, you don't want to have no single friends even though you married, or you married and you got, like, it is definitely a such thing as having friends that you are, I don't want to say equally yoked, but you have something in common with. Because if I'm married, and you're single, how can we relate as far as our day-to-day lives? Not saying we can't be friends, but as far as like us hanging, unless it's like we going on a shopping trip or we going to brunch or dinner or like to a show or something, like how can we really relate? Because you're single looking for your, you know what I'm saying, your forever, or maybe you just single and just enjoying being single, but I'm married, so my obligations are different. Or I have a kid and you don't have kids, so again, my obligation is different. So I definitely think it's a such thing as having friends that you have a lot more in common with. And I think the more she started taking these trips alone and having these girls' nights and all these, it was given very much, okay, I want to see what's out there. And that's absolutely fine, especially considering that they got together so young. So this absolutely is a natural progression in their relationship where it's like, okay, what's next? 10 years, like what's next? And what I'm also hearing from this video is that Dion, even if he wasn't the happiest he probably could be, he probably wouldn't have not said anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been noticing with a lot of these relationships. Men will stay and suffer before they leave the woman. And it's very, very, very rare that you hear a man who has left the woman. It's usually the woman that leaves the man. And I don't know if that's strategic. I don't know if it's laziness on the man's part. I don't know. But I have noticed that a man will suffer in silence before he leaves a relationship first. It's so crazy to me. So I say that to say, if Chelsie wouldn't have said, hey, this ain't working for me, I guarantee they probably would still be together. So, yeah. But I don't know, like, and then she's saying how they tried to do the whole still together but living apart thing, but it didn't work out. I could read a lot into that, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But she did bring up the fact that she and him co-parent Sebastian, which I was kind of wondering about that, because I'm like, dang, she always got the dog. Like, I thought that was like both of their dogs. So I'm glad to hear that they do co-parent the dog. I think that's definitely a thing, because it's a such thing as a fur mom or dad, So, especially they've been together so long, of course, even though that's technically Chelsea's dog, like, of course, Dion has grown attached, and I'm sure Sebastian has grown attached to Dion. So that makes sense. But then she goes on to talk about the new boo. But she's very vague on timeline, and it's given, what are you trying to say? And I brought that first part up about her being self-serving and her taking a lot of single trips and blase for this point that she's talking about now, talking about it's not as recent as you think. Like, it's given, did it kind of overlap? Like, did you start talking to him when you and Dion was kind of like figuring it out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I do have questions still. But at this point, I think, honestly, y'all, this is really all we're going to get from her. And that's completely fine. I will say that I am proud of her for even being this vulnerable. I do understand that it's hard because people such as myself will sit up and pick apart everything she said. I'm not going to pick apart everything she said because I don't care that much. I really don't think it's that deep, though. Like, what she's saying, honestly, could have been said several vlogs ago. And the fact that she started off saying that, she don't want to be forced to do something until she's ready, blase. I don't know how to take that, because my initial reaction is you're punishing your viewers for being inquisitive or for calling out the elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? You're punishing us for being invested, basically. You know what I'm saying? You want to call it nosy, I'm gonna call it invested, because we've been rocking with you, so bruh, what's going on? Like, she literally could have said all of this months ago, because it's not even that deep. It is something that is so common, so relatable, so simple. Like, I just don't understand what the hype was about. But yeah, I digress, y'all. I'm still trying to figure out why she's so pressed on the fact that this man like her. Like, did somebody say it in the comments? Because I promise you, I don't recall anybody saying that man don't like her. I do recall people questioning his sexuality, but if you know that man like you, then that's all that matter. You the one that's dealing with him, because I promise you, I couldn't care less. But she is definitely hell-bent on proving the fact that man likes her. But my thing is this. You have just gotten out of a 10-year relationship. So, of course, you are going to be smitten with this new man, because he probably is nothing like your old dude, even though you keep comparing him to your old dude, whether intentional or not. It's a subconscious thing. It's hard not to do, especially when you're that fresh out. And then she says that when they first met, he didn't consider her because they wasn't locked in. But I noticed that she wanted to, or she was going to say something else. And what I think she almost said something like, because she was still with old boy Dion. But my thing is, why would he consider you, knowing that you just got out of a 10-year relationship? You would have to be a cold-hearted bitch not to still have residual feelings. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be trying to be locked in with you either. Like, and if he is right now, I hope he is guarding his heart and taking it slow as possible, because I don't know what y'all see, but I see a confused woman. I feel like she's going through the motions of trying to figure out if she made the right decision, if the grass is really greener, what else is out there. She still wants to have her independence, but then every so often she misses having that compatibility and that reliability in a man, specifically Dion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's giving very much, I don't really know what I want, but I'm out here searching. And that is okay. But for you to be so smitten with this man to the point where I'm assuming that you think this is gonna be the next boo. I don't know, y'all. Cause my thing is, if you're dating, then you would be like, yeah, my 1-2, my, it wouldn't be just about this one dude. And it wouldn't be so, I don't know. It's just not giving what it's supposed to give. And I don't think she understands that. I just don't think she really is looking at the big picture. But on the flip side, she's young. It's her life. We're going to let her live it as she would like for us to. So, yeah, child, I'm just watching. But it's just so many red flags and so many things. I just want to, like, if coming from me to her, like, if she was my friend or if I was her big sister, I would just want to shake her and be like, girl, this dude is just somebody that's passing through. Do not hook your fangs in him, because he is not the one. And that is not a slight to him. That is not saying that, you can't fall in love with the person after the person that you were just with. That happens. Absolutely. But I don't think this is it. I really don't. And it's very possible that her and Dion may have stayed together too long. You know what I'm saying? So maybe this dude that she with is the person that she's supposed to be with, but she just stayed with Dion too long, so the timelines is messed up in the universe. You know what I'm saying? But even still, even if that was the case, I just don't see, from what I've seen of him on camera with her, and it just doesn't seem like it's long-term worthy, if that makes sense. I understand they still fresh and all that good shit, but it's just not giving. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But if you were truly leaving just because you wanted to experience life alone, you would be doing that. But here you are in a whole new relationship. And I know you say that we don't know the timeline and that it's recent, but not as recent as we think. And I call bullshit. I'm sorry. And I absolutely can be wrong. But I'm going to say it anyway. Like, I call bullshit. Like, at the end of the day, a person that truly just wants their space and wants to figure out life on their own as an individual, as opposed to being coupled, you know what I'm saying? Then that's how they move. It's very telling, and it leads me to ask the question, like, did you truly leave just to be on your own? Or did you leave because you was really looking for somebody else? And either answer is okay. Truth be told, it's not my damn business, but at the end of the day, I'm going to talk about it. So, yeah. It's very important to experience life on your own before you cohabitate. Because you don't know how that relationship is going to turn out. And it could turn out 1 year turns into 10 and you've never experienced life on your own. And that is exactly why I think it's also very important for you to sow your wild oats before you decide to commit to one person, whether that's marriage or just a committed relationship. You know what I'm saying? Or just a long-term relationship. Because you don't ever want to wake up one day and be like, damn, you know what, I wish I would have did, you know what I'm saying? And then your partner be looking at your ass crazy because just last night, everything was cool in the gang, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not fair to him or her, and it's not fair to you. I just don't understand why, people just can't accept that sometimes it just don't get no better for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes this is just what it is. Like, and I understand that she's like, oh, life is short and why not try to live the best life? And that is absolutely true. However, what if what you're chasing is non-existent? You know what I'm saying? Just because you feel like, that grass is so available and so green, like, damn, I should get a piece of it, or a piece of it gotta be for me. What if it's not, though? What if your grass that you already have is just your grass? And what if the only thing you need to do to make it as green as the grass that you're looking at on the other side is keep it watered, keep it nurtured, pay attention to it, and sit back and watch it flourish. What if that's all you got to do to make your grass just as green, if not greener? You know what I'm saying? And the great thing about that is that you don't got to start over from scratch. I just don't understand. Like, I'm not telling people to stop and be complacent and not chase their dreams. I'm just saying, sometimes chasing something is not the answer. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes what you looking for is something that'll never be found. If this is how you feel, and you said yourself that Dion was a willing participant in anything, very communicative, if anything was not on point or to your liking, he was more than willing to adjust for you, and vice versa. So that brings me to the question of, if that is the case, then why didn't it, continue? Because my thing is, did what you want change because you truly changed, or did what you want change because of outside influence? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, even though we may not intentionally be influenced, we may be easily influenced, or easier influenced than we think. We see, the celebrities, excuse me, or the big content creators with these lifestyles and these men, and it may come off as, oh my God, damn, I want that, I want a man like that, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Or we watch these fucking movies and think that that's real. And that might not be the case. Or if it is the case, that might not be your story. Who you with, where you are in life may just be the end all be all. But what I think is that Chelsie is a thrill seeker. I think that she gets bored very easily. And to a certain extent, I also think she's easily influenced. And so with all those things in mind, I think that may be what kind of pushed her to the point where she was like, you know what, I want to try something different. Dion seems very much like he's content. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not unhappy. He's just content. He's just, his happiness is there. Like, it doesn't take much to make him happy. And it seems like where Chelsie is like, okay, I got the moon, but you know what? I want the stars too. And not saying that anything is wrong with that at the fuck all. If you fucking have the ability to shoot for the moon, damn it, do it. And she doesn't have any kids. You know what I'm saying? She's still young. Absolutely. I'm not knocking her for that. But I'm simply questioning, or posing the question as, was it truly something that you wanted? Like, if you would have never became a content creator, and you was just doing what you was doing before that, or you was just working a regular 9 to 5, would your ideal mate still be down? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes me question a lot of things. I'm not knocking her for exploring her options, moving forward for her, none of that. And here's the gotcha. Sometimes you do have to step out to step back in. You know what I'm saying? And then on the flip side, we all have people who play seasons and, blase. So, Dion might have just been a season that lasted too long, or the season was absolutely up at the 10-year mark. I don't know. But I just find it hard to believe that if you have a willing participant who is willing to work on a relationship and alter or change anything that you want to help y'all both, I could see if you had somebody that was stuck in their ways and wasn't willing to accommodate your needs and just was just an asshole. Yeah, girl, go figure it out. But no. So she says that they decided to live alone, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have trust issues before, which she kind of alluded to they didn't. But I think sometimes when you've been with somebody for so long and you've been living up under them and then not being able to kind of like know their whereabouts or their schedule so much, it does lead to somewhat of insecurity or uncertainty, and you have to kind of work overtime to reassure that person. So I mean, I'm not saying that that's what it was, but that is definitely something that may have played a part. Either way, I'm glad that they both are still friends. Like, they both experienced a lot of firsts together. So, I'm not saying that them separating and trying to be individuals was wrong. I just kind of feel like maybe they should have did that after 5 years. Because 10 years, I would low-key be like, bitch, is you for real? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just me. Alright, y'all. Well, that's all I got to say. I just want to thank y'all so much for stopping by Trees Talks, especially if y'all made it this far. If so, please subscribe to my channel. Like the video if you haven't already. And leave me a comment. Let me know how y'all feel about this video, because I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel about it. But let me know y'all thoughts. And as always, in the meantime, y'all be safe.